Ross Garcia with Ross Garcia Life Coaching. And I want to talk about Bob Proctor, Napoleon Hill, and how some of these concepts have changed my life. So back in 2010, I was struggling. I had graduated from college. I got a degree in finance and investment management. And the reason I went to school was because everyone told me, well, go to school, get a job, right? But it didn't turn out that way for me. I had a real bad point in my life where I needed something different. I needed to know who me was, right? And if you guys could see the video, The Power of Belief and Positive Thinking, this is actually a video with Bob Proctor and John Canary. John Canary was with Bob Proctor back in the 80s, and they did an event called You Were Born Rich, okay? So, John Canary talks about these principles with his students. Bob Proctor is talking about it, and they're both talking about their experience on this life-changing information. So if you need to reach out to me, you can give me a call, 773-964-3859. And you could also come to my office, 6814 West Archer in Chicago. So anyway, going back to this, right? They both talked about a stick person and what the stick person concept is all about. So the stick person is basically based on that the subconscious, there is no picture for the mind. The mind is your thought. So it's, your conscience, and this is your subconscious. So, your mind, it fights your existing reality, your ideas. So they're either positive or negative. And what happens is, as these ideas come into your conscience, they come in there because you're letting your current results dictate the way you think, okay? So current results, I like when Napoleon Bonaparte, he took over France. What he had a very strong will. So, this concept is basically helping you with your higher faculties, which is your will, perception, imagination, right? Imagine if you were happy, healthy, wealthy, right? And it helps you with that. So we focus on happy, healthy, and wealthy. And wealthy is a good thing, okay? Because you could extend your services way beyond what you could reach if you didn't have any money. So happy, right? Healthy, and wealthy, okay? So going back to Napoleon Bonaparte, how he took over France, how he took over Europe, he had a strong will. And he was able to focus on what he wanted and go for it, okay? So you want to have that strong will. I work on this, and I work on my imagination. I imagine myself being successful at being a life coach, and I didn't even know what life coach was, right? I didn't, let alone take care of myself, my mind, right? And the thoughts that were going on inside, helping other people. But see, it fights your existing reality. It fights your current results. So you want to think positive. You want to formulate an idea, take it over to the subconscious. Now, Napoleon Hill, the guy that wrote the book Think and Grow Rich, he says that the subconscious doesn't know the difference between a penny and $1 million, okay? It must accept. And through repetition of the information, you're going to one day accomplish your goal. Now, your goal might be to, be happy, to find your significant other, to be healthy. And you want to focus on those things. So you want to imagine yourself happy, healthy, wealthy, and tell yourself, and it doesn't matter if your current results are just not looking too promising, you want to trick the subconscious mind. And it doesn't matter if it's real or if it's over the top, you want to tell your subconscious mind, I'm happy, healthy, I'm wealthy. And think these thoughts. Imagine yourself having those objectives, those goals, those things that you're reaching for. So your thoughts are either positive or negative. And your ideas, your thoughts, right here, if you look up right here, thoughts, ideas, things that you want, goals, right? you take them to the subconscious, you formulate a plan of action. In the first chapter of Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, he talks about how you have to define exactly what you want, your definite major purpose. So you want to define these things. You want to get emotionally involved and start using your will, the concentration factor, and telling yourself, I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm wealthy, bringing it over to the subconscious mind and kind of see yourself living that life, the house, the car, the relationship, the family, all that type of stuff. So you could create instead of looking at your current results and letting it stop you, you want to create the circumstance like the other Napoleon Bonaparte did. He says, I create the circumstance, attack. And I talk about him conquering Europe, going into Moscow. Napoleon Bonaparte did that. Adolf Hitler tried that in World War II. He wasn't successful, but this guy was a real smart guy, and he did accomplish a lot because he had that concentration factor, that will. He had a strong will. He was able to concentrate and go for it. So when you talk about, I'm going to be successful, or I'm going to go to school, I'm going to get the job, well, what you need to do is you need to focus in with your higher faculty, with your imagination, and you want to create a plan of action. You want to write out a life script of your life, right? So this is your life script. And how would it look, right? So this is your life script. How would it look if you had all those things that you want? So write out your life script and tell yourself, I live in this house, I have this car, I make this amount of money. Be precise. And I talk about the universe likes when you're precise. We know that right now it's the season of winter, right? And after winter, right, comes spring, then summer, then fall. So when the sun goes down, the moon comes up. And these laws are precise. That's why Bob Proctor is talking to John Canary, and he's talking about how Wernher von Braun, a scientist from the 50s, he was asked by John Kennedy, we need to send a spaceship, we need to send a man to the moon. How can we do this, Wernher von Braun? Wernher von Braun told JFK, John Kennedy, he says, you can send a spaceship, you can send a man to the moon, and you can time the landing by a precision of a fraction of a second. So the laws are precise, okay? Sometimes the weatherman might say, oh, it's going to snow, right? It doesn't snow, but we know that it's winter and eventually it will snow. So the laws are precise. And these laws are precise, and we want to use a law to start attracting that abundance into our life. I have a book called The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. And Wallace Wattles, he talks about having a spirit of gratitude. You want to be wealthy? Well, give thanks for the little things that you have right now. Open up the door to start attracting more into your life. So some of my students are earning over $100,000 a month with this concept. And what we want to do is we want to create a high amplitude of vibration, high vibration. We want a high vibration because with a high vibration, we're able to change the frequency. We're able to actually tap into the lifestyle that we want in these areas. So some of our students have had ideas and have wrote them down and actually taken it over to the subconscious. And, for instance, my sister was actually my first student. I talk about her all the time. And she was saying to me, I want to make 100,000, right? A year. She said a year. Well, I said, how about if you can make 100,000 a month? And I talked about making 100,000 a month because Bob Proctor was actually doing events called How to Turn Your Yearly Salary into Your Monthly Salary. So we took her yearly salary, we made it her monthly salary with this concept. And that's why I'm a life coach. That's why I love talking about this information. I invest thousands of dollars on myself because you're working on the inner you. Bob Proctor says your sanctum sanctorum, what the Greeks call your sanctum sanctorum, the inner you. The you that thinks in secret, the you that's thinking these ideas and thinking, well, how is this going to happen? How can I make $100,000 a month? You might make $100,000 every 5 years or every 10 years, right? How can you do that a month? Well, because you're thinking, how can I get there? Well, what we want to do is you don't worry about how, you just formulate the idea. Circumstances are going to start happening in your life. You're going to start meeting people that are going to come to you and say, hey, I met you at this place. I do radio, or I do TV, or I own this business. Maybe we can work together. So the how has really, it's kind of mind-boggling how the how can hold you back. Because I was thinking, how did I create a company? I was able to help people in my family through this concept. How did this happen? Well, we can't worry about how. We can't let our current circumstances, our current results stop us. So analyze your ideas. See if that has anything to do with your life script, and don't let anyone stop you. You might lose friends throughout the way. So don't let this current circumstance stop you. Don't let friends, family stop you. When you have these goals, when you're trying to do these things, sometimes you might end up by yourself. You might end up reading a book by yourself. And that's why it's important to one day see yourself and see yourself in the future, but you're living it now. So live in the now, and don't worry about how. Don't worry about your current results. Look at your ideas, your thoughts. Make sure they're positive. Take it over to the subconscious mind. Formulate a plan of action. You need to write this down, exactly how you want your life to be, exactly how much you want to make. You know, how do you look? How happy are you? Focus on your will, on your concentration. Increase that vibration. How do you increase the vibration? Well, you increase the vibration by being happy, listening to a good song. I talk about playing basketball, go to the gym, right? Do things that make you happy so you can increase that vibration. You know, Albert Einstein, he talked about vibration all the time. And if you want to think of the universe, you want to think about vibration and frequencies. Nikola Tesla said that. So, you know, these are the frequencies that you're operating on. And this is your goal. This is your goal. But you're down here. So you want to tap into a higher vibration, a higher frequency to get to your goal. So that's why it's important to have a life coach. That's why I'm here. So reach out to me. This is Ross Garcia. I want to thank you for your time. Have a good one.